Man, I still, again, like, I'm so blown away by how good Superman and Lois is, and apparently the consensus is that this is a great show. And if you're not watching Superman and Lois, then make sure that you get onto the WC. I always want to say WB. That's why I keep messing it up. CW, and check it out. And I slept on it for the whole first season, and I binged the whole first season, and I was hooked. Like, I couldn't stop. This show is fantastic. I think the writing is good, the storytelling is good. Superman feels so accessible in this show, and that's what I love about what they've done, and why, for me, Tyler Hoechlin, I believe that's how you say that name, is the best Superman we've ever had. And that includes, yes, my man, Henry Cavill, and even Christopher Reeves. And it's not necessarily so much a comparison between the performances of them as Superman, but I guess it is kind of that too. It is the whole package of what this show gives us as Superman. Because like I said, he feels accessible. Like, this is a Superman that I can vibe with. Because this is the Superman that, despite all that he can do, has real problems. He feels accessible. It's why people love Batman, right? Because Batman feels like somebody that you can be. He has no superpower, so you know he's human, but at the same time, he's at the top of everything when it comes to what he can do. So people love Batman, I think, because Batman feels accessible. People feel like, I could be Batman. Well, they've done the same thing with Superman in this series. Despite how powerful he is, he has to deal with real world problems like the rest of us. So in this episode, I thought the storytelling was fantastic. I know some people were a little bit irritated by the subplot of what's going on with Lana and her family, the father and all that. I think all of that's good, because I think that what makes this show so powerful is that the way this story is told in really a comprehensive sense, right? Like, all the people in this story to me feel important, not just Lois and Clark and her kids. All of them feel important. They all feel necessary for driving the story forward. And even if the sub-stories or the subplots are not necessarily specific to the main plot, they feel necessary for the world build, for the connection that it gives us to all the characters and the broader story, in my opinion, with this. So I think it's really interesting. We dig into Bizarro, and we find out a little bit more about what's going on with him. Now we can understand actually what's going on, and we know that he is here basically to stop Allie, because he says if we don't stop Allie, Allie's going to kill us all. Now, they do kind of set Bizarro up in this, at least this is what I believe, and you can let me know, because when we catch Bizarro standing over the body of Dr. Faulkner, which was really gruesome, by the way, I was like, what? That's pretty gruesome. So they set us up to think that Bizarro did that. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think Bizarro did that. I totally think Allie did that. Bizarro came up on that, and it looked like he was a culprit when Lois walks in, but it wasn't Lois. And I also think it's interesting the fact that Bizarro doesn't attack Lois, and it could be the fact that maybe he has some kind of connection to Lois in Bizarro World. I don't know that, but when he doesn't attack Lois, it makes me think that he is not the big bad that some people think he might be for this season. And correct me if I'm wrong, for all of you Superman aficionados, which I will fully admit that I'm not. I think I have a respectable knowledge of the character, but I'm no Superman expert. But I believe even in the comics, Bizarro is not a villain, so to speak, but he's really just kind of someone trying to assume the role of Superman, or sees himself as Superman and goes about acting that out. And sometimes he just connects with villains in the comics. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's what we're going to get in this show as well, because he wants to take out Allie. So it'll be interesting to see how they play all of that out. Now, I will say one thing about this episode, which I thought I didn't hate. I mean, I thought it was okay. I do feel like Jonathan taking the drugs to gain powers is a little bit of a stunt in terms of storytelling, and I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I hope that doesn't transition somehow into him realizing that he does have actual powers and those powers manifest. I think that'll just be too easy, and plus I think that will muddy the value of his brother having powers. I like the fact that one has powers and one doesn't, and they have to deal with balancing the dynamic of that, and I like the fact that Clark has to deal with balancing the dynamic of that, and then just the friction that's going on between the brothers as it relates to that, because that's real. I could totally see that happening. I have a twin, and I could totally see that happening if something like that happened to us. So I'm feeling a little bit iffy about that whole thing, and I'm looking closely to see where they go with it. I also want to see where they go with Allie and how they develop her and her connection to the bizarre world and how all of that works out as well. So I'm fascinated to see what we have moving forward here, and I'm also fascinated to see if Bizarro is going to be the big bad, or if we are going to get the introduction to some other bads as well in this season. I'm tending to think maybe not, because we're about maybe halfway through. I don't even know how long these shows run, because honestly I really only watch Marvel stuff except for bigger movies and things like that when it comes to the DC EU stuff. Getting ready for the Batman next week. So excited about that, by the way. But I love this show. I think it's fantastic. I think that this is the best Superman that we've ever had, and I say that without equivocation. It's the best Superman we've ever had, and I would defend that to the hilt because of what this Superman gives us in terms of accessibility and the viewer and the fans feeling like that could be me. And Tyler brings that across so well in this show, along with the writing, and then not even talking about like the cinematic value of the show, especially for a CW show. If someone knows the budget of what it costs for them to make the show per episode, drop that in the chat so you can let me know, because I would love to know, because this thing is so well done, so well shot, so well produced. It is amazing. So we're going to be covering every episode of this show from here on out. I didn't see a lot of traction on YouTube about this, so I don't know how many people are covering this. That's great for us. Maybe if there's people out there looking for it, they'll jump on and see our videos, and we can get some traction and some conversation going on about it. So hopefully you guys will chime in the comments about it. I know right now for most of you all on the channel, you've been so caught up in a discussion that we've been having about the Rings of Power, that I'm hoping that these videos don't get pushed to the side, that they get some love as well, because I love talking about these things with you also. Final thing is this: on Sunday, I'm not sure what time, so notification bells. I do want to do a live stream so that we can basically talk about whatever we want to talk about. I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions about, again, my thoughts and opinions and all that stuff about what's going on with Rings of Power. And I'm really starting to get worried now with Rings of Power. The more I'm hearing about what's going on with Amazon and what they're doing, I'm starting to get scared, and I'll admit that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. On to the next video, and I will see you there. Peace.